Welcome to our College Briefing show, where we dive into the latest and most intriguing happenings around campuses and beyond. Let's kick things off with some sports excitement. Over in the NCAA women's basketball tournament, the North Carolina State Wolfpack made a thrilling dash to the Elite Eight, thanks to Isaiah James' stunning 29-point performance against Stanford. Not to be outdone, the men's team also pulled off a magical run, upsetting Marquette to book their Elite Eight spot for the first time since 1986. It's a double celebration for NC State fans. Switching gears to a more serious note, we've got news from Nicaragua where a US-based missionary group is facing a tough battle. 11 members of the Mountain Gateway Group, convicted on money laundering charges, are now facing years in prison. They're not going down without a fight, though, vowing to appeal the convictions. This case highlights the Nicaraguan government's crackdown on faith groups and NGOs, a concerning trend for many. On a lighter note, who knew houseboats could be the next hot office space? Thanks to the remote work boom, more Victorians are ditching the traditional office for a life on the water, turning houseboats into their work-from-home sanctuaries. It's a lifestyle shift that's gaining traction, proving that work and relaxation can indeed go hand in hand. So, whether you're cheering on your favorite college team, following international legal dramas, or contemplating a floating office, there's never a dull moment in today's news. Please stay tuned for more details on these stories. NC State turns tables on foul-prone Stanford, moves to Elite Eight. Washington Post. Isaiah James' 29 points, including 25 in the second half, helped the North Carolina State Wolfpack beat the Stanford Cardinals 77-67 to reach the Elite Eight of the women's NCAA tournament. U.S. missionary group pledges to appeal the convictions of 11 members in Nicaragua. Associated Press. U.S.-based missionary group Mountain Gateway plans to file appeals against the convictions of 11 members of the group who were jailed in Nicaragua in December on money laundering charges. The group's leader, John Britton Hancock, said the 11 faced between 12 and 15 years in prison. The Nicaraguan government has frequently used charges of money laundering to expel or outlaw faith groups and non-governmental organizations in the country. Mountain Gateway maintains that it complied with all government rules to operate in Nicaragua and possesses documentation to support this claim. Since December 2021, at least 26 Nicaraguan universities have been closed and their assets seized by the government. The government has also expelled nuns, closed the Vatican embassy, and outlawed or closed over 3,000 civic groups and non-governmental organizations. Not just thieves, thousands of political prisoners were among Australia's convicts. ABC. A new exhibition in Australia has shed light on the political resistance movements of convicts in colonial Australia. The exhibition, called The Convict Resistance Project, is currently showing at the Tasmanian Museum and Art Gallery. The project was a 4-year research initiative that analyzed the digitized information from Australia's UNESCO-listed convict archive. The researchers found that among the roughly 162,000 convicts sent to Australia between 1788 and 1868, there were at least 3,600 political prisoners. These included trade unionists, democracy advocates, and Irish revolutionaries. These political prisoners, along with other convicts, banded together to bring political resistance to the colonies. The researchers argue that this aspect of the convict story has been lost and needs to be better understood. They found evidence of at least 11,000 collective actions across New South Wales and Van Diemen's Land, now known as Tasmania, that featured convicts protesting together. The researchers hope that their work will challenge some of the stereotypes associated with convicts and highlight the role they played in shaping the beginnings of the labor movement in Australia. Minnesota State's Defense Keys win over TWU for school's second Division II women's basketball title. Associated Press. Minnesota State won the NCAA Division II Women's Basketball Championship, beating Texas Women's University 89-73. Natalie Bremer scored 27 points for Minnesota State, who scored 40 points off 30 turnovers. Minnesota State won their second championship in program history, having previously won in 2009. Head coach Emily Thies won her first title in her 13th season with the team. Number 11 NC State upsets number 2 Marquette, advances to first Elite Eight since 1986. CNN. Number 11 North Carolina State's men's basketball team continued their surprising run in the NCAA tournament with a 67-58 upset win over number 2 Marquette in the Sweet 16. Guard DJ Horn led the team with 19 points and called the team's run magical. The Wolfpack have now won 8 consecutive games and reached the program's first Elite Eight since 1986. The women's basketball team also advanced to the Elite Eight with a 77-67 win over number 2 Stanford. Both teams will play their next games on Sunday. Houseboats become work-from-home sanctuaries for lucky Victorians seeking different lifestyle. ABC. The number of people living and working remotely from houseboats in Australia has increased by nearly 12% since 2016, according to data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics. The rise in remote working during the COVID-19 pandemic has contributed to the trend, with around 10% of the Australian workforce now working completely remotely. While some jurisdictions, such as New South Wales, do not allow permanent residency on houseboats, other areas have seen an increase in demand for mooring spots at houseboat marinas. An Oklahoma council member with ties to white nationalists faces scrutiny and a recall election. The Toronto Star. The city of Enid, Oklahoma, is facing a recall election to remove a city councilor with ties to white supremacist groups. Judd Blevins, a former Iraq War veteran, attended the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. Blevins admitted being connected to Identity Evropa, a now-defunct white supremacist group, and said he participated in the rally to bring attention to the same issues that got Donald Trump elected in 2016. The recall effort was launched by two Democrats, Connie Vickers and Nancy Presnell, and is not seen as a partisan issue. Isaiah James scores 29 to lead NC State into the Women's Elite Eight with 77-67 win over Stanford. Associated Press. Third-seeded North Carolina State earned their third trip to the Women's Elite Eight with a 77-67 victory over second-seeded Stanford on Friday night. Isaiah James had 29 points for North Carolina State, while Sonia Rivers added 13 points and 7 rebounds. Stanford's Cameron Brink fouled out with 13 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 blocks. North Carolina State will next face top-seeded South Carolina for a spot in the Final Four. A group of elite freshmen shows the future of women's basketball is bright. Washington Post. Hannah Hidalgo is one of a group of freshmen who are shining in the NCAA women's basketball tournament and have been tipped to take over the sport. Hidalgo was named First-Team All-American and ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Other first-team All-Americans include Juju Watkins, Madison Booker and Audi Crooks, while Milasia Fulwilly and Michaela Williams are also making a splash in the tournament. These freshmen are the result of the sport's growth, with better coaching and training available to girls from a young age. They have also been inspired by the growing popularity of the WNBA. The next generation of basketball players are of a higher standard, but also have a self-confidence that is unusual in freshmen, according to Lisa Peterson, chair of the Division I Women's Basketball Committee. The players have been boosted by social media and their connections with sponsors and celebrities. Don't think all is lost. Study into mass exit of teachers from classrooms gives reason for hope. ABC. A new study from Federation University in Australia has found that many teachers who leave the profession do not permanently leave the education sector. The study is the first national study to speak with teachers who have actually left the profession to find out why they left, where they went, and whether they intend to return. The study found that most teachers who left the classroom continued to work in the education sector, albeit in a different professional role such as writing curriculum and policy development. Factors cited for leaving the profession included workload, stress, leadership concerns, lack of respect, and salary concerns. The study also found that schools are losing more teachers with between 7 and 10 years experience, which could lead to a leadership vacuum. However, the study also found that more than 80% of teachers who left the profession retained their registration, which suggests that there may be an opportunity for them to return in the future if conditions and systems change. Yuba County's top young spellers compete. Yahoo! The Yuba County Office of Education hosted the 2024 Spelling Bee at the Yuba County Government Center. Students in grades 4 to 8 had the opportunity to represent Yuba County in the California State Spelling Bee in April. The competing students were previously named spelling champions at their schools and districts. The first and second place winners from the elementary and junior divisions will advance to the state championships. Students were given a list of words to practice, but the competition was not limited to that list and increased in difficulty over time. Federal judge to decide on Florida teacher pronoun law. Yahoo! A federal judge on Friday heard arguments in a court battle over a law restricting educators' use of personal pronouns and titles in schools, in one of a series of challenges to Florida policies targeting LGBTQ people. Trump posts video with an image of a hogtied Biden, drawing a rebuke from Democrats' campaign. The Globe and Mail. Donald Trump has received criticism for posting a video on social media featuring an image of Joe Biden hogtied on a truck's tailgate. The Biden campaign condemned the video for suggesting physical harm to the sitting president. Trump's campaign spokesman responded by accusing Democrats of calling for violence against the former president and his family. Trump has repeatedly accused Biden of using Nazi imagery with regard to immigrants. He has also warned that if he is not elected in 2024, there will be a bloodbath for the country. Trump has previously described immigrants as poisoning the blood of our country and compared his enemies to vermin. Oregon State beats Notre Dame 70-65 in Sweet 16. The Toronto Star. Oregon State's women's basketball team defeated Notre Dame 70-65 to advance to the regional final of the NCAA tournament. Tamia Gardner scored 21 points and Reagan Beers added 18 points to lead the Beavers. Oregon State shot 60% from the floor and out-rebounded Notre Dame 42-24 in the victory. Notre Dame star Hannah Hidalgo was held to just 10 points on 4 of 17 shooting. In another game, top-seeded South Carolina defeated Indiana 79-75 to advance to the regional final. UCF's $88 million football stadium expansion to create new revenue streams. Yahoo! The University of Central Florida, UCF, plans to spend $88 million on expanding the Roth Tower at the FBC Mortgage Stadium. The expansion will allow the stadium to host events such as weddings, happy hours, and corporate outings. The stadium currently hosts 7 games a year for the university. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.